So Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sánchez just had their wedding, 3 days. Venice, Italy. A private island. Sounds dreamy, right? Well, kinda. They got married on San Giorgio Maggiore, this quiet historic island in the San Marco district, surrounded by about 200 guests. And not just any guests. We're talking the Kardashian Jenners, Bill Gates, Oprah, Usher. Yeah, it was stacked. But as perfect as it all looked from the outside, things behind the scenes, not so perfect. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel for more breakdowns like this. Celebrity chaos, drama, and everything in between. Here's where it gets wild. The entire event had a full-on social media blackout. Around 200 guests, and not a single post, not even a blurry sneak peek. Total silence. That is, until Vogue dropped a digital cover, giving us the first look at Lauren Sanchez's wedding dress. And it was a whole moment. Her gown, a custom Dolce & Gabbana piece that took over a year to make. It had a high neckline, a lace corset, and 180 silk chiffon-covered creased buttons. You can't make this stuff up. And because one dress clearly wasn't enough, Lauren changed 2 more times during the night. She wore a sweetheart neck gown inspired by the 1946 film Gilda for the wedding dinner, and then showed up in a cocktail dress from Oscar de la Renta, fully covered in 175,000 crystals. Not a typo. 175,000 crystals. But here's the twist that no one saw coming. The wedding wasn't even legal. Yep. Venice officials confirmed they never received a request from the couple to perform a legal ceremony. So all this, it was symbolic. No paperwork. Just vibes. And just when you thought things were quieting down, Lauren switched her Instagram handle to Lauren Sánchez Bezos. No caption, no announcement, just a silent name change, like the final scene of a movie. So yeah, the wedding was stunning, sure. But between the blackout, the mystery around the ceremony, the hyper-planned fashion reveals, and the fact that none of it was actually legal, Jeff Bezos' wedding kind of felt less like a celebration and more like a Billionaire stage production with a Vogue exclusive. Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sánchez reportedly met through mutual friends in the media and tech world. At the time, both were married. Bezos to Mackenzie Scott, and Sanchez to talent agent Patrick Whitesell. Their relationship reportedly turned romantic in 2018, while Sanchez was working closely with Bezos on projects related to his space company, Blue Origin. In January 2019, the affair became public just hours after Bezos announced his divorce. Despite the media storm, the couple stayed together and have been very public and affectionate since. Their shared interest in aviation, philanthropy, and space exploration helped deepen their bond. Okay, let's talk about what everyone really wants to know. What did the guests wear to the wedding of the year? Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's wedding wasn't just another celeb event, it was a fashion spectacle on a private island in Venice. And while the guest list was insane, I'm talking Oprah, Kim Kardashian, Leonardo DiCaprio, Queen Rania, and basically half of Hollywood, their outfits, even more iconic. Let's start with the overall vibe. Think high fashion meets black tie with a sprinkle of old money Venice flair. It was black tie but elevated. Every guest was styled like they were walking the red carpet at Cannes. Except instead of paparazzi, it was water taxis, private canals, and exclusive entrances. Very VIP, Oprah Winfrey went full elegance in a blush pink gown with a draped bodice. Timeless, classy, very Oprah. Kris Jenner stood out in a black dress with dramatic white puff sleeves, giving classic couture meets Kris energy. Karlie Kloss, sleek and bold, in an off-shoulder black gown with a choker. Minimalist but powerful, the men kept it classic but crisp. Usher, Tom Brady, Sam Altman, all in tuxedos but make it modern. Slim fits, sharp tailoring, and likely some designer labels we'll be Googling later. Even though it's black tie, it was clear the men knew they were on fashion display. And of course, Kim Kardashian showed up, and you know she didn't play it safe. She brought the glam, reportedly styled to perfection. While details about her exact dress are tight-lipped, this wedding was locked down tighter than a Marvel set. We know it was designer and likely made headlines on its own. Now Lauren, the bride, went all out. She kicked off the festivities in a Chiarelli haute couture dress from their spring 2025 collection. That's Daniel Roseberry's work, you know, the guy who made Beyoncé Renaissance tour looks. Yeah, that level. She was serving glamour from the start. Then came the wedding gown, a custom Dolce & Gabbana masterpiece, mermaid style, with a corset and hand-appliqued Italian lace. It had 180 silk chiffon-covered buttons, no big deal, and was inspired by the dress Sophia Loren wore in the 1958 film Houseboat. The vibe, classic Italian cinema. Lauren said she wanted to feel like a princess, and she delivered. She paired it with borrowed Dolce Alta joielleria earrings, 4 diamonds cut from a single stone, and get this, those earrings were so valuable they had to be delivered in an armored van. Yup, that's where we are. Her something blue was a secret token from her Blue Origin spaceflight. And let's not forget, this wasn't just a stylish affair, it was tightly secured. The location was kept under wraps. Even the guests didn't know the full itinerary. They were just told what to wear and where to show up. The planners, Lanza and Bacchina, are known for privacy and exclusivity. These are Italian aristocrats who treat events like state secrets. In a world full of over-the-top weddings, this one somehow managed to be more than just lavish. It was a masterclass in celebrity fashion, luxury coordination, and the art of keeping 200 A-listers on schedule. So yeah, the clothes were stunning. But the planning, the mystery, the details, that's what took it to another level. This wasn't just a wedding, it was a production. Honestly, it felt less like a wedding and more like a Vogue cover shoot, with everyone styled to perfection and no room for slip-ups. It was luxury, secrecy, and fashion, all dialed up to 100. Let's be real. From the outside, Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sánchez's wedding looked like a scene out of a billionaire fairy tale. 3 days in Venice, a private island, a list guests, a Dolce & Gabbana gown, Vogue covers, the works. But behind the glitz and glam, things weren't all that dreamy, so let's talk about it. Sources close to the event have revealed that the Bezos wedding weekend was actually a hassle for many guests. Despite the jaw-dropping luxury and meticulous planning, attendees found themselves, well, exhausted. Venice was blazing hot during the wedding weekend, and the heat didn't exactly pair well with all black tuxes and couture gowns. Guests were reportedly shuttled from venue to venue via boats, which sounds romantic until you realize it was a logistical nightmare. Everyone had to be in the same places at the same times, and the transportation took forever. By the time the actual wedding ceremony happened, many guests were already worn out. And if you thought staying at this star-studded affair came with all the VIP perks, think again. The minibar treats weren't complimentary, and guests had to provide credit card details just to check into their accommodations. That's not quite the all-expenses-paid vibe you'd expect at a $55 million wedding. Now, let's zoom out to what was happening just outside the wedding. While Bezos and Sanchez were exchanging vows, hundreds of protesters gathered at a Venice train station, chanting slogans like Bezos, FK off, and out of our lagoon in Italian. Venice wasn't thrilled. Some demonstrators accused Bezos of using the city as a personal playground. Others criticized the Amazon founder for exploiting labor, harming the environment, and contributing to the gentrification and exploitation of Venice. The protests were organized by a group called No Space for Bezos, and included housing advocates, anti-cruise ship activists, and even Amazon workers who described how hard it is to pay rent while billionaires live like royalty. Protesters waved flags, from pride to Palestinian to anti-fascist, and carried Amazon boxes turned into protest signs with messages like rejected and no space for Bezos. At least 500 people marched through Venice, some even lighting flares on the famous Rialto Bridge. Their chants echoed through the city, "Eat the rich," "No Bezos, no war," and "Kisses yes, Bezos no." Venice city officials called the protests ridiculous and grotesque in a formal press release. But for locals, it was less about the wedding and more about what it represented. A billionaire using their fragile, overcrowded city for a 3-day display of excess. And here's the kicker. Even though Bezos donated €1 million each to 3 Venetian cultural organizations, that's €3 million total, many protesters weren't impressed. They saw it as an empty gesture, a small price for someone worth over $200 billion. One protester put it plainly, that money is just a misery and only aimed at clearing Bezos' conscience. Then there's the now viral mannequin situation. A giant 6-foot-tall statue of Jeff Bezos, covered in fake dollar bills, popped up in Venice ahead of the wedding. Created by sculptors dressed as Amazon workers, the statue was swarmed by pigeons and served as a not-so-subtle symbol of protest. Meanwhile, locals were also worried about access and environmental impact. Some reports suggest the wedding party had to be relocated due to the protest buzz. Others pointed out how Bezos' yacht, the $500 million Kourou, couldn't even dock near Venice's Grand Canal due to strict regulations. So much for that picture-perfect moment. Let's not forget the overall feeling from the people who actually live there. Venice only has about 50,000 residents. Events like this one amplify everything Venetians already deal with: overcrowding, rent hikes, environmental strain, and the slow creep of privatization. All in all, the Bezos wedding was extravagant, iconic, and very on-brand. But it was also messy, controversial, and for many people, literally and metaphorically, exhausting. What do you think? Was this just another billionaire fantasy playing out in public, or a tone-deaf spectacle that missed the mark? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that subscribe button. We've got more celebrity chaos, culture deep dives, and drama dissected right here on this channel. See you in the next one.